I'm Devin O'Day. Welcome to this episode of Main Street Today, where Alvarado Road Show to Singing Songwriting Brothers bring their entire families to the Nashville area for music. They buy a ranch, which has turned into a TV Webisode series of adventures. Randy Nash of Sumner Funeral and Cremation has another installment of 6 Feet Away. We're going to talk about the most famous funerals he's been involved in. And of course, the best burger in Sumner County is at Swaney Swift's in Gallatin. We'll take you there. Stay tuned. It's time for Main Street Today. Menus on Main Street. I'm Devin O'Day, and I want to invite you along to some destination dining around the Mid-State. Sumner County's Main Street Awards gave us the heads up to this Gallatin gym with the best burgers. It's located in the square, downtown Gallatin. I'm in Swaney Swift's. They're on the square in historic downtown Gallatin, and the music, the look, the soda fountain, it's just unbelievable. But what they're known for is the burgers. They won the best burger in Sumner County. Listen to the list of these burgers. The classic, I Gawk the Line, Smoky Mountain Barbecue, the Farmhouse, the Godfather, the Bacon Blues, the Southern with pimento cheese, and bacon, the Homer with glazed donuts as the bun, the Patty Boy with sourdough bread and Thousand Island dressing and grilled onions, and of course the Swaney with fried pickles, jalapenos, bacon, provolone, and Swaney sauce. The Santana has onion straws and queso, and the Hendrix smothered in mushrooms, steak sauce, mayo, Swiss cheese, and onion straws. You can upgrade to sweet potato fries or onion rings for just $1. They've got salads, they've got all sorts of wonderful things that are not burgers, and of course they have your milkshakes and sundaes and all that kind of good stuff. They do have a drink menu as well, both adult beverages and great things for kids too. The Cookie Monster, speaking of kids, vanilla ice cream topped with warm chocolate chip cookies, chocolate syrup, and whipped cream. So fun. What a great place for a birthday. It's the drugstore, Swaney Swift's drugstore, converted into a great little place to eat outside or eat in. What a cool place. What's your name?
Lacey.
Lacey, thank you. Okay, tell me about this amazing burger menu, because you guys won the Main Street Best Burger in Sumner County. Do people just freak out over this burger selection?
Actually, yes. Okay, so I haven't been here very long. I've been here like 6 months. So when I first got here, I just thought it was like a normal burger place. People just rave about it. And so, I obviously ate some, agreed, and I have never had... There's nothing on this menu that I would turn somebody away from. You know what I mean? But the burgers are definitely the specialties. Just there's the recipes and the way that they put them together. And you can do any of our burgers with like veggie patties and stuff like that. So it doesn't exclude from the non-meat eaters, and you still get the same experience. They're really good.
But you have like a whole herbivore section with quinoa, the raspberry pimento grilled cheese.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I'm not a pimento person, but people just, they clean the basket. They love it. Mm-hmm. The Homer is also one that because I don't really have a sweet tooth, so that's not my go-to. But the people who end up getting it, again, clean basket. They just love it.
That's the 2 glazed donuts as the burger, the bun.
Yeah, sure is.
With a side of raspberry jam. Okay, that's just decadent. That's just decadent. The Farmhouse is calling my name today.
The Farmhouse is very, very popular. I prefer it with a little bit more of a well-done egg, but the people, how it comes whenever you just bite into it, and it just yes, it's kind of one that you'll need napkins for, but you'll devour.
Can I switch out the hash browns for onion straws?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, actually, our side items that's right over here. And that's another little unique thing about us, because you can get things like fried pickles, you can get Italian pasta salad, you can get a side salad, you can get regular French fries, you can get onion rings, onion straws. There's a lot of options.
What is a Sweezburger for the kids?
Sweezburger is just a normal cheeseburger. It's just a cute little way to say it.
I love it. And of course, this time of the year, people are coming in for their milkshakes and the floats and the things like that. Do you know any of the history behind this place?
Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, sorry, I have a table, so in just a second. But This actually was Swaney and Swift's pharmacy. 40s, 50s type area. And so if you come over here and look behind this little, beam, you'll see the actual original signs for some of the medications that they used. And so, it's really neat. But I guess we've been here probably 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. But the feel, the music, and then upstairs, before you leave, you should check upstairs because that's kind of like our little private dining area. And it's just cute. It is just photo, centric of like the little bar and then the pharmacy sign, and it's super cute.
I love hearing the music and the stuff in the background and the sodas and stuff like that. Tell me your name and what you do.
My name is Travis Roberts. I'm the general manager here at Swaney Swift.
Coming out of the quarantine and everything, I know everybody was so excited to be back here. Not just the people working here, but I mean the people here in Gallatin.
Yes, you're right. We've had a lot of people who've either given us phone calls or actually come in and just said, thanks for being open, or thanks for everything that you do just to kind of keep the square going and things like that. So it's been really positive.
I was just about to get some of the down low on this building. Apparently there's some ghosties in the building. Is that true? Every place in Nashville, in Middle Tennessee, has a story like that. So I'm curious, does Swaney Swifts have a story?
Swaney Swift does have a story. To be honest with you, I haven't checked all of the accuracies, but we do hear things like there has been movements and things upstairs, and we hear rumors of a couple little dolls and things like that pop up from time to time, about once every 3 to 6 months or things like that. So we do hear some things that we can't really explain, which leads us to believe that some of those things are probably true.
Let me ask you about the burgers here. Who came up with the list of burgers, and are you always on the hunt for a different combination?
Sure, we are always on the hunt for a bunch of different combinations. Everything that we have here starts with our regular half-pound hamburger, and then we make everything from that. We have a lot of people in the kitchen who give us creative ideas, or at least say, let's just try and see if this works. And we use a lot of those things, but some customers also still give us some issues, and some give us some ideas at least to try. We've sampled a few different ones, and we're adding and taking away from the menu about every quarter or so, just to try new things.
Who came up with the idea of the Homer with those donuts?
One of our owners at the time, actually, Eddie Anderson, came up with that to try to put that on there, and he actually enjoys donuts himself, so I guess that's why he likes it.
Well, there's also vegan or vegetarian options on the menu as well, because people walk into a diner and they go, this is so cool, but there's nothing for me. But it's such a varied menu.
We do. We also have all of our salads that you can get as that way, but we carry the Beyond Burger patty, and that patty can be substituted on any of the burgers or anything that we have going on. We also make in-house our own black bean and quinoa burger every single morning, and we hand pat those out and get those out. They can also be used, that patty, on any of the burgers that we have as well.
Are you opening like upstairs for parties and things like that coming up?
We are. Upstairs, starting in the month of June, is ready to go. Tables and chairs are all ready. We have been booking that as private parties. You can just give us a call here at the restaurant and speak to Travis. That's who should be able to take care of pretty much everything that's on there. We can discuss everything from what you would like to have. We've done weddings up there. We've done receptions, rehearsals, birthday parties, all those kind of things. We'll work upstairs. It's somewhere around the neighborhood of 60 people. Should be able to fit up there fairly easily. We also do some lunch parties where people want to have meetings and things like that. So we can give you a private area to be in that we can pretty much answer any of your questions.
Swaney Swifts is worth a visit. Take your camera because there's some really cool photo ops, and try their unique milkshakes along with their award-winning burgers and more. I tried the banana pudding milkshake and it was magical. SwaneySwifts.com has a full menu and mouth-watering pictures. Make your daycation trip to Gallatin, Tennessee, and you won't be disappointed. 6 feet away, passings in a pandemic. That's where the conversation started with Randy Nash of Sumner Funeral and Cremation in Gallatin, Tennessee. And the question we got most for Randy is, who are some of the famous people you've done funerals for? A very Nashville question for sure.
That's a question I've always gotten from other funeral directors that are not from here, because being in Nashville, what cool funerals have you done? Well, it's an honor to serve any family. Everybody's famous to their family. That's the thing that you got to remember. Everybody's famous to their own family. The company I worked for previously, we did June's funeral first, obviously, and then we did Johnny's 4 months later. So June and Johnny's were I would say that's the most famous person. Definitely have handled some services for people who were famous in their own right, but Johnny would be the most famous, I would say. We did Merle Kilgore's funeral. That was at the Ryman. That was neat. Furland Huskies. Billy and Betty Walker, after they passed away in an accident with one of their band members, passed away too. We did both. We had a double funeral for them, funeral at the same time. I did a funeral for one of Elvis's bodyguards, a gentleman named Sonny West. Sonny was really interesting guy. Really cool people I've met with through that. Done some funerals for some people involved in the gospel music industry. Yeah, I was 16 when we did Johnny and June's funerals. That was an interesting experience for a 16-year-old kid.
I cannot even imagine what that would have been like. Those probably bring on new things because it's probably those funerals you need security to protect the dignity of someone like that and to keep everything so there's not somebody just that walks in off the street.
June's was open to the public because June was a people person. I remember Johnny told a story one time. So I've known the Carter Cash family growing up because my mom's youngest brother and John Carter graduated from high school together, and we've been friends with them when I grew up in the car business. I remember going with my uncles to take cars to Johnny and June's house and stuff, and he said one time to my uncle, she was on the phone, we walked in, and he said she'd talked to a wrong number for 20 minutes, and they'd talk back, So hers was open to the public. Johnny's visitation was not. Our concern, I remember the biggest concern, there was police outside the building and some inside, but the ones inside were in plain clothes. So people didn't know they necessarily were police officers. And our biggest concern was photographs. They had one person designated that could take photos. Franklin Graham spoke I can't remember if he was at both funerals. I think he was. And Billy Graham actually sent his photographer to take pictures I remember at June's. So he was the only one allowed to take photographs. We were really concerned with that. So there's somebody always watching that. In my opinion, any funeral, we don't want a lot of pictures circulating of different things. And video now. That was in 2003. We weren't as concerned with videos as we are now. You definitely have your guard up. You definitely, you want your staff, when you're serving any family, you want your staff on their toes. But when you're serving a family of an extremely notable person and you're in the public eye, their thing to remember is that it's about the person whose life we're celebrating. It's about that family. It's not about us. We're there to help them, but we need to be there to take care of things, but we don't need to be in the middle of it. We don't need to be seen. We need to be as discreet as possible for the way we're doing, and be discreet and be dignified, and remember that it's about the celebration of that person, and it's also publicity for your business, but it's more serving the family.
Taking care of families. That's what Randy Nash of Sumner Funeral and Cremation in Gallatin feels called to do. It's not a job for him. It is a calling. Episode 2 in the series, 6 Feet Away with Randy, will talk about the sticker shock of funeral expense and how to lock in today's pricing on a future passing, alleviating all that stress for those you love who are left behind. 6 Feet Away. It's our new series for experts on Main Street that takes you behind the scenes to the mysterious world beyond this life and the people who handle the passages. Subscribe to hear it on Main Street Today, and if you've got a question for Randy, you can send it to me at mainstreettodayradio@gmail.com or just reach out to him directly at sumnerfuneral.com. Musical selections from this piece include June Carter Cash's 2005 Church in the Wildwoods version of Will the Circle Be Unbroken, produced by John Carter Cash, and Johnny's I Walk the Line from 1964.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
Lord, is a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Yeah.
Brothers, Harmonies, Alvarado Road Show on Main Street Music.
It's just a little house on a little lot with a little backyard. It suits us fine. I hope she's happy. I'm not the perfect guy for the perfect girl in a perfect world, but she knows I tried. I hope she's happy. I lose my breath, it scares me to death. I could wake up and she'd be gone, but every time I think about what I can't live my life without, I hope she's happy.
We traveled back and forth. We did the whole thing where we slept on friends' couches and we ate the crackers and coffee out of every publishing house writing and trying to be able to network with as many people as we could. We did that for about 9 years.
Every 6 weeks, we would come stay 10 days.
And that was on top of our touring schedule. So we were away from home a lot. We were actually here working in Nashville at a friend's house. And our sister, we have a sister between us and a sister older than AJ. There's 4 siblings. And we're a very, very close family. Well, our sister Felicia, the one between us, she was pregnant, going to have a baby. And she had the baby early, and we weren't able to be there because we had writing sessions, some demos. There was a lot of things weighing on us to be here as far as responsibilities. People were, relying on us to take care of a lot of different things while we were here that week, and we couldn't get home. We heard the baby cry over the phone. It broke our hearts. We wanted to be there. We finished up all of our responsibilities here. We drove straight home.
Actually drove straight to her house.
Yeah, straight to her house. By the time we got home, she was already back home, and she handed the baby to us and said, "We're all moving to Tennessee."
Rat race, running on the deadline. Stoplight, wasting all of my time. Straw balls, won't stop yanking my chain. Who's that ringing on the cell phone? Sweet thing calling me from back home. Hey boy, don't you think it's time to get away? Baby, let's roll down the road, let's travel. In an uptight world, time to unravel. Buy a set of mud flaps, throw out the road map. Why don't we get away from the phone and the fax and the TV? I know when the rush and the road run needy. Let's get lost, it's the only way to travel. Rolling down the road, let's travel.
Yeah, we were like, what? She goes, y'all need to be there, and we're going to be with you, so we're all moving. And that meant
that we moved 4 households.
4 households.
We've played music our whole life, and early on, before any of the more major country stuff, we had gospel deals as a family. AJ started the band a long time ago with another guy, and slowly family members ended up coming into the band, and then they ended up pursuing other things in life. It ended up me and AJ. But as far as behind the scenes, it would never stop. They just weren't on the road. So my mom takes care of all of our office work. The live here at the ranch on Facebook, my niece is helping man the phones. I've got my sister in the house. She's manning the phones. So everybody's a part of what's going on. Mom's here doing what she does.
There are a lot of families who haven't spent this much together time since anybody was born. This is new for a lot of people, but for you guys, the reason that it seems so comfortable is that's your everyday.
I got a flat tire in a traffic jam somewhere in Louisiana. God only knows where I am, but that ain't nothing new. 10 more miles and it's it for me. I'll stop for gas and a mean green. In my mind, I'm back in Tennessee, holding on to you. All through the night, I'll be burning up the highway if the stars are just right. And if I get having my way, baby, you know I'd be back home loving you.
We moved to Alvarado, Texas, which is like a suburb of Fort Worth. Actually, I think it's
32 miles from downtown. We were going by just Cleve and A.J. Clark. West Cleve and A.J. Clark. That's what we were going by.
In Alvarado, we lived there 7 years. Mom had 3 acres. A.J. had an acre of land. We thought we had all of Texas right there. And some of our children were born there. There were some marriages that happened there. There was a lot of family healing that we had some issues in the past. So when we got signed to Universal, they wanted just to sign us as a band. We were going by Cleve and AJ, and we always kind of had a problem with the name situation because we would go by Cleve and AJ. If we had another musician, people would try to include that musician with the name. So I started going by West Cleve and AJ, which West Cleve is my name, AJ's his, and people thought we were 3 guys. We changed that up.
So we decided, let's just call it a band name.
Yeah.
No matter what, it'll be that.
Alvarado, Texas, so much had happened. It was more about what happened to us in our lives while we lived there, of the reason why we picked that name. We initially wanted it just to be Alvarado. The label was worried about some legal issues, so we ended up settling on Alvarado Road Show, which we love.
I'll be missing you, calling home every night that I'm gone. Just to hear you say you miss me too. I'll be counting down every day, praying God will keep you safe until the highway leads me back to you. I'll be missing you.
Some things are uncommon for people, but they're not so uncommon for us. We were actually gathered around the table, and all of us were having dinner together. When I say all of us, it was 10 of us, and my uncle was here. We asked him to say the prayer over the food, and when he prayed, he says, thank you, Lord, for letting us get together. And we laughed. After it was over with, all of us were joking, and we said, you say that like we never get together, but we get together every day,
But it's just a little house on a little lot with a little backyard. It suits us fine. I hope she's happy. I lose my breath, it scares me to death. I could wake up and she'd be gone. But every time I think about what I can't live my life without.
One of the number one questions we get, are you twins? And we go, no, there's 9 years difference between the two of us.
Yeah, so when they say that, AJ, I swell up a little bit with pride, and he kind of shrinks down a little bit.
Yeah, because he's 9 years older. The second question is, you guys ever fight?
I mean, how do you get along?
First off, when I was 9, he was 18. He was my older brother. He beat the fire out of me, Now he's too old to fight. I got to take care of him.
Yeah, he's a cowboy. It's a rough ride, riding into the rain. It's a tough life, living life against the grain. But he'll hold on tight until the day he dies. He's a cowboy. He's a cowboy. Oh, ride him,
Early on, Steve Warner ended up catching wind of who we were and was watching us, and we didn't know. And he showed up at a show and asked if we could write or he could produce. And we got together, we wrote a double handful of songs, and then went in his studio and produced. And immediately Universal picked us up. A lot of our success that we found has been just boots on the ground to get things going. We started our new Webisode. We've got a lot of new songs. We've got a new record that hasn't been released yet. So it's kind of been snowballing for us for a lot of new things in this season.
Tell me a little bit about my brother Cleve.
We've bought property. We've got all of this stuff, and we started taking, master beef classes. So we'd learn about grass, and we'd learn about all of these different things. We're kind of growing in it and learning, and we're not afraid to show our ignorance while we're learning. And so we're just kind of growing.
Well, we've always been on the guitar side, behind a guitar when it comes around cows and horses. They'd always hire us in, or we'd be playing a buck out or a rodeo or a roping. And now that we're stepping on the other side and putting our hands to raising cattle, it's a different deal. I got up this morning and we've got a few new cows on the property that one keeps getting out. I repaired fences yesterday, and when I got up this morning, I couldn't see any of them, so got on the gator and took off driving and found them in the trees. And I began to think to myself, maybe this is normal. So
it's kind of funny because my brother Cleve, what we're doing with the Webisode is something that we've been working on for a long time.
Plus, the word webisode is just so cool to say.
Yeah.
I like to say it.
It is.
It's funny, Devin, because we call it a ranch. You know, when we moved here, we started calling it a ranch. And all of our neighbors was like going, well, that's the old Collier farm. We go, we know it is, but it's a ranch to us.
It's a ranch.
It's a ranch. And so we've been working on, getting it cleaned up and doing all these things and doing some festivals in upper state New York. And a guy that writes for the New York Times mentioned to us, I'd like more information on your TV show. And we said, what TV show? And he said, My Brother Cleve. And we looked at each other and go, that's just stuff.
Because we would take AJ's not very tech friendly.
What?
So I would run a cell phone and I would point it at AJ and he would say, because people can't see me, AJ would say, I'm AJ, this is my brother Cleve.
And I'd point at him and behind the phone and go, this is my brother Cleve. And he'd turn it on himself. And wherever we were at, we would talk about it.
If we were here on the ranch, we were working on some whatever, burning or cutting some trees or working some cows or something, we would talk about that.
Or if we were in Cooperstown, New York at a baseball event playing there, we'd talk about that.
Or in the studio, whatever our life was that day that we wanted to clue people in on what we were doing and stay connected, we would just talk about it.
Well, when that gentleman said, hey, I'd like to see more on that, we were like to look at each other and go, that's not really anything. And
you guys need to think about it.
And then we went away and we were riding with a guy that was one of the American Idol guys, and we were having breakfast with him at Puckett's downtown, him and his manager just spoke up, and these were just like
days after,
and he goes, hey, by the way, I want to see more footage on your TV show, My Brother Cleve. And we looked at each other, and Mom was with us, and we all looked at each other and go, but he said this, Devin, he goes, and I need a sizzle reel. We had no idea what that even meant.
So we said, okay. And we stepped out of the meeting, and we grabbed our phone and said, sizzle reel. What is that?
What is that?
Google sizzle reel,
Well, long story short, we called the guy that we were friends with in New York. We called him up and says, hey, we've had another guy ask about this, and why would you think somebody'd want to see more of that?
He began to talk about our life that we find common is growing to be uncommon now, and that people, including us, live a hectic life, and everyone or anyone wants to be able to step out of their own life for just a moment and enjoy something maybe wholesome, maybe moral, maybe fun. He said, it's like you guys are a amusement park and people get to go and be in your amusement park for just a moment.
And stop worrying about their worries.
And it made us kind of reposition ourselves to understand that what we've always done is we've been blessed to be able to take the gift that we've been given, being able to craft songs, being able to play those songs, being able to use the personalities that we've been given, and being able to take what inspires us and use what we have to inspire others. And this webisode is just another way of doing it.
I always say never underestimate the power of the family table. And you look at the success of television shows that have gathered around a table, the Waltons, Little House on the Prairie. But in modern day, we've got Duck Dynasty and we've got Blue Bloods, the sacred family meal once a week.
Baby, I've been
Back Home Loving You. The first time we played the Grand Ole Opry, we did that song with Steve on the Grand Ole Opry, and that was way cool, but we just never released that song. We put together a best of album. We had a video in the can. It was unedited, and I took it in and edited myself, put that video together, and we released it just to YouTube and Facebook. And we've seen some good response off of the song. We just made it wide open available just to kind of find a home where it wants to find a home. We're trying to fill all of our platforms with content that people can just see and be a part of. Alvarado Road Show.com is our website. I mean, our music is everywhere you want to download. But if you want to go there and you want to get physical copies or you want to get merchandise like caps, T-shirts, that sort of deal, you can go to alvaradoroadshow.com.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We blame it on the sun when we have to face a rainy day. Every now and then we gotta take a little time and help a brother through the day. Whoa, whoa, love. that way. Oh, every now and then we gotta take a little time and help a brother through the day. Oh, love lives that way. Oh, love lives that way.
I'm Devin O'Day, and I'm so glad Alvarado Road Show spent some time with us. Follow them on their YouTube channel and My Brother Cleve. It's television at its best. Make sure you click like, subscribe, and share. The Main Street Today network is filled with great stories of people who live in your neighborhoods, who live in your city, who live in your counties. You can find lots more great stories by subscribing to our 12 local papers around Middle Tennessee. Get information at mainstreettoday.com.